Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to Top Best for Everything, channel that has got the best go-to videos no matter what your interests are. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 craziest things frozen in ice that people have found. Now, before we start the video, I just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it and helps the channel out a lot. Now, without further ado, the top 5 craziest things found frozen in ice. And number 5, an ancient lake. In Antarctica in about 2012, Russian scientists drilled through over 2 miles of ice to find something very odd buried underneath there. Lake Vostok is the biggest subglacial lake, something that doesn't even really sound real. But something even less possible is that scientists actually found samples of life in that lake. And according to BBC, the lake has been completely isolated for millions of years, which would make sense as why the life that they found, while only bacteria, was unlike any other bacteria that they've ever seen before. The team actually went back a few years later, found some more bacteria that they also hadn't seen before. And in 2016, they found a whole nother lake buried underneath the ice. Number 4, treasure. Story that seems like something too good to be true. But it was reported on by BBC, so it must be true. In 2013, a mountain climber, who shall remain anonymous, came up to some French officers and turned into them a very small box containing various precious jewels. Including some of these jewels were among emeralds, sapphires, and rubies. The net worth of the box came out to be somewhere around over $300,000. That's a lot of money. The box was found in the ice on Mont Blanc, and it was discovered that it came from the Air India flight that crashed in the mountains there in January around 1966. Over 100 people died in that crash, and because of the weather and where on the mountain the plane went down, it was never entirely recovered. After the box was handed over to the proper authorities, they of course were trying to find who owned it, obviously. Unfortunately, 2 separate families claimed that the box was theirs. So we're not really sure what ended there, but of course everyone wants to be fighting over those jewels. Also, it appears the box wasn't the only jewelry to be found among the wreckage of that plane crash. Another treasure hunter actually found another 50 pieces of jewelry among the glacier. Number 3, a World War I battlefield. War. It's a terrible thing already, and usually something always happens to make it much worse. In the early 1990s, the glacier around northern Italy started to melt around the town Peo, and things from the past started to reemerge. Diaries and love letters, and then finally, the bodies. The bodies of soldiers who died in World War I fighting what was called the White War. The Telegraph reported that more people actually died from the cold and from avalanches than actually fighting in this war. Men and teenagers, thousands of them, their bodies never recovered from the mountain until the ice all started melting, revealing their mummified corpses. Historians even discovered a cabin perfectly preserved in the ice, with all their ammo, clothes, and helmets all still intact. Back in 2004, a guide actually found the bodies of 3 Habsburg soldiers on the mountain. Some of the bodies have been identified, and hopefully that can help to bring a little peace to their families. Number 2, the Iceman. In 1991, Otzi, the Iceman, was found by 2 German hikers in the Otzo Alps, at an elevation of over 10,000 feet. Otzi was found to be from the Copper Age, and is the oldest, most well-preserved man, because unlike the Egyptian mummies, his brains and other organs were still inside his body and completely frozen. Because of this, he proved scientists with the best specimen of a 5,000-year-old man they'd ever had. Now the question still remains, how did he get to where they found him? I mean, he's up 10,000 feet in a mountain, right? In 2001, a CT scan of Otzi revealed an arrowhead as well as other puncture wounds on his body. So it was likely that he was in some fighting. However, these arrow wounds were not found to be the cause of his death. A blow to the back of his head actually was determined to be the cause of the death of Otzi. However, it cannot be certain as to whether this was from an enemy attack or if he possibly just fell while climbing the mountain. And now finally, the one you guys have all been patiently waiting for. Number 1, Prehistoric Creatures. Now this is something that you all have probably heard a ton about. Everybody always likes to hear the stories of, dinosaurs or whatever frozen in the ice. Fortunately, it's nothing super exciting, but a few of them were pretty decently good and a lot of people might enjoy, so these are the few that we brought up to today. The first one we're going to talk about was a woolly rhino that was found in the British Isles. According to BBC in 2007, gold miners found a well-preserved female woolly rhino at the opening of a gold mine, if you believe that or not. So they were looking for gold and instead they found a rhino. It was estimated that the rhino would have weighed about 1.5 tons and lived 39,000 years ago. That's a long time ago and it's still pretty well intact, so that is one amazing find. Another crazy discovery happened in 2009. They found a young mammoth who they dubbed Yucca. It was estimated that the mammoth was around 8 to 10 years old when it died and stood at less than 165 centimeters. Not super big, but still a mammoth. Like the rhino, it was estimated to live around 39,000 years ago. Something quite amazing about this find was that the researchers actually found the brain of the mammoth. It was very much intact and a very super rare find, so it was fantastic for them and they absolutely loved that. As for the cause of Yucca's death, they found many unhealed scratches thought to be from some sort of lion or tiger or something. However, they also found other straight-like cuts that could be from human tools. So that would suggest that Yucca was actually being hunted by humans at the time of her death. Alright guys, and that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching the top 5 craziest things frozen in ice. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one.